Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad to be spending this next 60, 90 minutes, depending on the question, with you to talk about finding more balance, more performance in your life and in your career. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining. Hi, good to see you. Okay, I'll let you settle in, and let's start maybe by giving you an introduction on who I am. So my name is Peggy Van de Plassche, if you don't know me yet, and thank you so much for watching this webinar. As I'm sure you can hear, I'm from France originally. I moved to Canada 21 years ago, actually. And I spent 20 years in the financial services and technology industries. I was an executive, I was an entrepreneur, I was a board member. So I had a very successful career in finance. And a few years ago, I decided to focus my attention in health and wellness, which is why we're here today, simply because I realized that without this basic foundation of health and wellness, it's very difficult to have a successful career and a successful life. It's not an episode of Severance. So you bring your challenges from one area of your life to another. If you're very anxious at home, you're going to be very anxious at work and be overrun. Same thing if you get triggered very easily, you're going to have that in every sphere of your life. So we're going to talk about all of that today. So the Microdose Diet is the name of my business. It's also the name of my book. Maybe some of you have read it already. If you had, don't forget to write a review on Amazon. It's always helpful. Maybe you are a subscriber of my newsletter, my podcast. Anyway, in any way, shape, or form, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. And I'll go through the presentation I have. I'm not going to share the presentation, but I have a flow to be to make sure we are hitting all the right points and you get enough information. In the meantime, you can ask questions. I'll monitor the chat, and I will also leave some time at the end for Q&A if you have any Q&A. So again, thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching the replay, you're going to get the same great benefit. So thank you for being here, whether today, right now, or whether at another time. So first, let's chat a bit about performance and balance. So why are we focusing on performance and balance today? Because it's very simple. It is the cornerstone of your success in your life or in your career. If you're having a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, which was my case, let's be honest, for most of my career. If you don't necessarily have a lot of focus, a lot of attention, it's going to be very difficult to have great success in your life, in your career. And success, it's very important for me, is that you define success on your own terms. Your definition of success is very different from my definition of success. Maybe your focus on, your career, your family, your health. It doesn't matter what is important to you. What I really, really, really want to convey to you today is that success, yes, exactly. Success is your own. It is your own DNA. We have very different definition of success, and to reach that success, or at least the maximum of success, maximum of potential, you need to be cool, clear, and calm, collected at the top of your game. If you're not, it gets very difficult, obviously, to perform. So and you can think about it in many ways. If you have mental clarity, it's going to be way easier for you to make decisions, that are fast, and you're going to make this decision with confidence. I think for me, it's all about being in my authority, not being programmed by what's happening around, not being conditioned necessarily by the past, but being grounded and making the decision from a place of calm, not from a place of I'm stressed, I'm anxious. It's Peggy from 10 years ago who's been traumatized by by a nasty boss who's answering. It's Peggy, who was 5 years old when someone told her she was dumb, who's answering. And I think that's something that's very important, is that in order to have mental clarity, you really need all these voices in your head and in your body to fall away. So mental clarity is going to be super important, both for your balance and your performance. Focus. Focus is very important. You all know we have tons of distraction. The challenge that the more distraction you have, the less our brain is able to focus. We're losing, it's a skill, it's a muscle. We're losing that ability to focus. So you really, really want to make sure you have focus. You're at work, you're in a meeting, you're 100% there. They don't get 50% of Peggy, and then another 50% is elsewhere, thinking about the medical appointment I need to book, picking up the kids, or having to call my mother. So being in the flow is really what's going to make not only your life way more pleasant, but also your life way more effective, obviously bringing you more success. We're going to talk obviously about microdosing. It's a big part of my protocol in order to improve our lives and get more success, through balance, through performance. One of the things I really love with microdosing is this idea of improving the memory, but also the pattern recognition. So it really helped me to unlock my creativity and be way better at problem solving. And you don't need to be a math teacher to see the value, or art teacher to see the value added in creativity and problem solving. And again, regardless of the type of job you have, regardless of do you have children, don't you have children, all of that's going to be super important for you to be as successful as you desire. And last but not least, emotional balance. And I mean, we have a mix of men and women today in the webinar, and thank you so much for being here. Emotional balance is important for everyone. There's not like a gender that benefit from it more than another. We absolutely, all of us, need more emotional balance, more regulation, emotional regulation, in order to be able to act, make decisions from a very grounded place, instead of reacting and maybe always doing the same thing, because we've always made that type of decision. Again, someone is pushing my button, I'm screaming. Maybe it's nice to disconnect the button from the scream and come up with a different answer this time. But for that, you need to break the pattern. That's why you need to rewire your brain, you need to rewire your nervous system in order to really interrupt this pattern. So how do we get there? So the first thing, I just talked about rewiring the brain, rewiring the nervous system. It's really that you need to calm your nervous system, because when you're constantly in fight, flight, or freeze, you are not making decisions from a place of control, mastery, sovereignty. You're making decisions based on habits and usually traumas, and traumas with a big T, a small t. That's not what I want to get into, but you want to break this cycle of overreaction. And whether it's through microdosing, and actually maybe I should have shown the product. You can do microdosing on my website, you can buy them. You can do microdosing with psychedelics or without psychedelics, and you can even use both. I stack both. I'll go in more details in a minute, but it is very important in order for you to access more calm, more balance, more performance, to break the patterns and the cycles of reactivity, of conditioning that keep you on this fight, fight, flee merry-go-round. You need to reset the program. Yeah, a lot of this conditioning is coming from your childhood. Actually, everything is coming from our childhood, mostly, before 7 years old. But that's really where, unfortunately, we learn to navigate the world. And we were not always in environments that helped us to navigate the world in the best possible way. But also, as a 4-year-old kid, we might have also made the wrong conclusions from a situation that might not have been abnormal, but we decided that it meant something about us while it didn't. So that's something we really need to understand, that a lot of that, I would say 99% of what you're thinking, saying, doing is not you. It is what you've been conditioned in doing. And this conditioning was maybe very purposeful. Maybe your family, your church, your school wanted you to think a certain way because it's easier to manipulate you. And if you're very obedient, so like you can really start looking and understanding why people say certain things, if the context is to keep you in a place that you're easy to manage. But also it comes back to, as I mentioned, you as a young person making something out of a situation. Let's say my mother picked me up 5 minutes late at pickup because there was a lot of traffic, whatever the reason was. I might have made that means that she didn't like me. I'm not lovable. I have no value. I don't matter. Well, maybe my brother would have just thought, she's late. So there is also a lot of things where we condition and program ourselves, which has nothing to do with other people. So it's also important to take our own responsibilities, and it's not to judge ourselves. When we are 5 years old, we don't really have a lot of context and comparison point. But what is very important is for you, when you realize that now if your spouse is late 5 minutes, it means something about you. So that's really one of the points we're gonna have a lot of value with microdosing, because what's microdosing and the protocol, the microdose diet will do is help us not just break the cycle, but also create this 2 seconds buffer where when the button is pressed, now you don't necessarily go in that action reaction mode. You have the time to take a step back, and you might want to say something different. You might want to do something different. You're way more in control. You're out of this fight, flight, freeze. So, I think the people who are the most in their own authority, the ones who are mastering their lives, are the ones who have been able to decondition and deprogram themselves the most, because they are really deciding in that situation, I'm doing this, and not I do that because I've always done that. And that is very, very important. So one other thing I really want to mention, yeah, absolutely. One other thing I really want to mention is really the philosophy of a microdose diet, which is, in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you believe you deserve. And if you're looking at success in your life, in your work, a lot of that is not about more skills, more hours spent of work, more diploma. A lot of that is based on you, your belief, your conditioning, your nervous system. So it is not about, hustling more. It's about increasing your performance, increasing your balance. So what you're doing has really a super positive and impactful result. So how do we get there? So I mentioned microdosing is really the tool that's going to turbocharge your progress. That's going to be really an enabler. Whatever you're doing, maybe you're already doing therapy, you're doing coaching, you're doing meditation, I don't know, you might be journaling, maybe you're not doing anything. But microdosing is really going to amplify everything you're doing. And yes, we're going to go into what microdosing is and what to do with that. So, and well, actually, let's go right there. So what is microdosing? So microdosing is very simple. It's about taking very small micro dosage of a substance. It doesn't have to be psychedelics. You can microdose anything. Some people actually now are microdosing weight loss drugs. But microdose in the context of psychedelic is about taking 5 to 10%, what we would call a full dose, if you're going to do a deep healing work, a deep journey. So you have different type of psychedelics. You have mushrooms, which is what we're going to talk about today. You can go with ecstasy, but I'm sure you've already heard MDMA. Can be LSD or acid. You have different type of psychedelics. Ayahuasca, you might have heard about ayahuasca. People really like psychedelics because they are psychoactive substance. So they induce changes in your perception, in your mood, and in your cognitive processes. So it affects your senses, it alters your thinking, your sense of time. Again, if you take microdosing, if you decide that you want to microdose, you are not gonna feel disconnected, you're not gonna have hallucination, it's gonna work in the background, and that's what you want. It's gonna work to calm your nervous system and also rewire your brain. And that's really what you want, because if you thought, I'm 47, if you, I don't know, like we have a mixed bag of people, but let's say you're 35, doesn't matter exactly the age. You have thought the same way for the same 30 to 35 years. These are patterns that are very well established in your body. Every time this situation arrives, you tense up, and your brain right away goes actually from your executive function to really your reptilian brain, and you're activating the neural pathways that have been used for 35 years. So imagine for 35 years, people walking like in the forest, when you see this trail, well, it is exactly what's happening. So now what we want is that we want to go different trail. So first we want your body not to tense up when that situation, that circumstance appear, and we want your brain to use a different pathway in order to, instead of being angry, for example, you're going to stay in your executive function, in your frontal cortex. You're going to stay in control, you're going to stay calm. So that requires some work. Psychedelics help you do that faster and better, because there are many ways to come to Rome. You can calm your body and rewire your brain with meditation, with journaling, with tapping, with therapy, I guess, to some extent. But the thing is it going to take you 2 years? Is it going to take you 20 years? Is it going to be able to reprogram you in 10% of the case or in 90% of the case? So again, the beauty of microdosing psychedelics is that it turbocharges what you're doing already. And if you're not doing anything, which is the case, I have many people who just microdose, you can already nonetheless get the benefits of mood boost, better focus, calming again your nervous system. I personally like to do more than just microdosing. You're going to have way more results, even if you do like a very small practice every day, just to really channel what you want the medicine to do for you. So what are some of the benefits you can get with microdosing? So I want you to think about getting 10% better. And I would almost say, okay, you get 10% better every year. So this 10%, or every 3 months, maybe. Every 3 months, probably a bit more rational. So sleeping better, having better relationship with people, because, having less reactivity is going to help you with that. But also psychedelics help you, even in microdose, with your self-awareness. So when you become self-aware, obviously it's easier to have good relationship. At the same time, microdose also help you with, I would say, more empathy and more compassion for yourself and others. So that is very helpful for your relationship. Sorry. It's also a great mood boost. So there are a lot of benefits in microdosing. You do have 3 levels of microdosing, I like to say. First level is very unconscious. You pop your pill the same way maybe you pop an Advil. You don't think it twice. You're just doing it every 2 days, every 3 days, and we're going to come back to what the frequency might be the best for you. But there is no process, there is no thought, you're very unconscious. And I would say that is the majority of microdoser. And I can see that some of you are actually relating to that. Most microdoser just take the pill. Level 1, I would say, is more conscious, and it's really more, you have a microdosing practice. You have an intention for your practice. And by intention, what I mean, my cat just came. Thank you, Lala. And what I mean by having an intention is that whether it's something very precise, so you want that for this type of situation, let's say this type of meetings, you want to be able to be not only calm, but also super sharp. Maybe that's your intention. Maybe your intention is to connect better with your spouse or your children. Maybe your intention is to have difficult conversation. I had people who have had as their intention. So it's really one level up in terms of microdosing. It's one level up in terms of microdosing in the sense that it's way more conscious. You're really, you know why you're microdosing. And the next level is what I call mastery. And but again, like you can Google my book. I sell it on Amazon. I also have an online course. You can get a lot of information as well on my website. And it's really this idea that it's not just a microdosing practice, it's a holistic practice. So microdosing is just a tool in your toolbox. Pardon me, sorry, that's my cat's hair. Yeah, her name is Twinkle. Twinkle, yes, she's a Siberian cat, yeah. She's 13 years old, yeah. And so that's what I'm very interested for you to learn about and that we're going to discuss today is that level 2 of mastery. So how do you microdose at a master level? Let's talk about best practices here. So the first thing is whether you decide to microdose, again, a product like the Brain Power Microdose, which has some psilocybin, some psychedelics, or you decide to microdose with a product, and I think my product's probably the only one on the market actually, that mimic the psychedelics benefit without having psychedelics. The rationale is the same. You want to have the best quality product possible. And I cannot put the emphasis enough on that. I see many people telling me, my microdosing practice hasn't been very successful. I'm not super happy with the results. First question I always ask is, okay, where did you get your product? Did you grow them at your home? I'm looking at my closet because many people grow their plant in their closet. Did you buy them on a random website that you have no idea about? Did you have a friend that recommended it? Where did you get the product? And most of the time, I can tell you, it is very random. And that scares me a lot because if you're looking at products like the ones with psychedelics, it is not regulated because in most places in the world, it is illegal. People can literally put dog poo in their product, sell you that as mushroom, you wouldn't know the better. And dog poo being probably the least dangerous and offensive situation. If I look at so my microdosing product with psychedelics, this is why I developed it, because I had so many people asking me where they could buy quality product. And I was like, wow, I can give you the name of a couple of companies, but guess what? I have not, done some deep due diligence behind. So I worked with a clinic in British Columbia to develop this product specifically for the microdose diet, and it was developed by an expert that has developed like more than 200 formulation for health and wellness. It's been his business forever, and we know psychedelic very well. So it is organic, it is premium, formulation is great. Is it more expensive than what you see on the market? It is. And you know what? I could definitely increase my revenue and my margin tremendously by decreasing the price and decreasing drastically the quality. But it is exactly what I'm opposed to. You need to put the best quality product in your body if you want them to work the best for you. And at the same time, don't you deserve amazing product? A bottle of Brain Power Microdose is 90 US. And depending, there are like 25 caps. So let's say you're doing 1 cup every 2 days, it's 50 days. It's close to 2 months. You have almost 2 months for 90 US. Does it worth having less stress, less anxiety, better focus, better memory? I think it does. And again, this is not regulated. You need to buy from people you trust. I have people asking me, oh, this one is $5 cheaper. Well, go for it, but you have no freaking idea what it might be inside, and keep that in mind. When it comes to the legal brain power microdose, it's different because the formulation is registered with Health Canada, and the claim have actually been validated by Health Canada. So here it's regulated, so very easy, if they have actually approved that, yes, it calms you, yes, it improves your focus, yes, it helps your brain regenerate. So that is, I would say, easier because it is regulated. But the second there is a psychedelic in your product, it is absolutely unregulated, and I'm not going to say your product could have fentanyl, but it could, so use your brain here, highest quality possible, okay? Then the quantity. So that is where I see also a lot of challenges. And again, can buy my products on my website, themicrodosediet.com, very easy. I ship in Canada and in the US. If you're outside of Canada and the US, send me an email and we'll see what we can do for you in terms of shipping into your country. So in terms of quantity, second mistake I see a lot, people take too much. Yeah. So I had several cases. Yeah, exactly. So exactly. Thank you. So you can end up in a situation where something like microdosing psilocybin that is supposed to actually calm you, increase your focus, is going to do the overrun because you're taking 2 or 3 times the dosage that is required. So you're not microdosing, you're mesodosing when it's not macrodosing. So I remember that nice gentleman who was telling me, could you look at the protocol my microdosing coach gave me, because I really don't feel great, and you were so bullish on microdosing. I'm questioning myself. The guy was taking 250 milligram every 2 days, so of psilocybin. So here you have 100 milligram. So you can imagine you take 2 times and a half that, things are not going to go well for you. And you also need to be careful about the combination of products. If you have first you can be sensitive as well, so you need to use also your own radar. But sometimes you have some products that don't mix extremely well with it for your own body. So you need to be careful about the quantity you're taking, but also the formulation. Again, this one is perfectly formulated, so it's very balanced, and you don't feel high. Again, maybe you're extremely sensitive, so maybe instead of taking 1 cup every other day, you're taking a cup every 3 days. Maybe you decide to take it before going to bed. Maybe you even open the cup and take half. But the dosage is made for the majority of people, but you might not be exactly. You might not be the majority of people. We're all different. Here with the legal brain power, you're supposed to take 2 cups every day, so that's very easy. I have someone who reached out to me and is like, well, 2 cups, it's a lot for me. I'm actually taking 1 cup every day. And I'm like, great, more power to you. First, it's cheaper, good for you, but also use your brain. If you don't get the results you want, like adjust. So if you'd rather do that, start with 1 cup a day and then build up to 2, like I personally combine. So what do? I take one microdosing brain power, so the one with psychedelic, once every 3 days, and I take 2 cups of the legal brain power every day. And I can tell you, like, my mood has never been better. My creativity is to the roof, and I'm laser focused. So for me, combination of both is incredible. For you, might be this one, might be that one, and you might never want to touch the one with psychedelics because you're not comfortable, and that is fine. Like I have people. That's why I developed this product, because I had so many people who wanted to participate in the microdose diet, but based on stigma, based on illegality, they didn't want to have psychedelic in the product. So this one was a perfect option. So again, quality, quantity, and then schedule. For microdosing with psychedelics, you have 3 protocols. One is once every 3 days, which is the one I follow. The other one is once every 2 days, which is what the majority of people do. Let's be honest. And then you have another protocol, which is Monday to Friday. That's really the career workhorse. So my husband take Monday to Friday, and then every day this one. And I can tell you, so that's something also that's very important. If you're in a relationship, the fact that we're both microdosing, oh my God, our relationship has been so much better because we're both so much calmer. We both have a mood that's so much higher. We are both like more in the flow as well. So whatever you're doing is going to really impact, even if on top of that, both spouses do it, I think it's even better. But I would love, companies where employees are all on that. I do speaking engagements to companies to promote, obviously, the legal product. I was just like, if everyone in the company could do it, that would change tremendously, not only the performance of the company, but also the mood. When people don't feel constantly afraid, in competition, aggressive, reactive. Can you imagine what it is? So this is for the schedule. So twice a day, every day, once every 2 days, once every 3 days, Monday to Friday. Again, you can go on my newsletter, my website, you'll find tons of information. So then I want you to think about an intention. What is your intention to microdose? I mentioned it a bit before. Is it an intention related to your career? Is it an intention related to your moods? I have a lot of people coming for their mental health, depression, stress, exactly. That's actually why I came to microdose, actually, because I wanted to improve my mental health, and that has really that has been a game changer, from total game changer. One thing I want to mention is that if you microdose, it's not going to change the way you're not going to become a different person. Like people are afraid that, oh, today I'm a bank executive. Am I going to become a yoga teacher in Costa Rica? No, you're you're just going to be a bank executive who's more calm and who enjoys his or her life better and who have better performance. but it's still you. It's still Sabrina. It's still the same. Same. So that's something you really want to come to term with. You're not going to become someone else, and you're not going to feel I think that's the thing that people are the most worried about, is feeling I. You're not going to feel I. I do coaching. I coach clients, and not just on microdosing. It's more on transformation. Actually, we use microdosing as one of the tools, and we always start microdosing on a Sunday or a Saturday, depending on what day is your day off, or the first of your 2 day off, and just to put people's minds at ease, meaning that you're not going to feel out of sort if you microdose. You won't, but it's helpful for people if they don't have to go to work or whatever. So again, I really want you to think about your intention. I mean, you joined that webinar today because you probably want more balance and performance in your life, which is quite general. What is more precise? For me, my big overarching intention, microdosing, is to be more in my authority. And what I mean by being more in my authority is to be less impacted by my conditioning. So constantly shedding the conditioning, but also be calm, really be zero stress, zero anxiety, which, I mean, it's obviously a goal that is, I'm not the Dalai Lama, but if I can reduce my anxiety and my stress day after day after day, well, that makes a huge difference. One thing that has made a huge difference for me is on my self-confidence. Tremendous value for my self-confidence. I used to self-confidence and self-love. First, I used to constantly criticize myself, but also I used to constantly doubt myself. And I have to say, the microdosing with the practice, we're going to talk about it in a second, has really changed that. Yeah, self-confidence is something I've struggled with as well my whole life. And yeah, that's good. If you do it, you're really going to see great results. You're going to really love it. So again, maybe that's your intention. Maybe your intention is, I want to feel confident in business meeting. I want to feel confident when I speak with my boss, my mother, my spouse, my kids. Maybe it is, I want to love myself more. I want to stop berating myself constantly. So in the book, I mentioned, if you don't know what your intention is, the best intention I always push people, maybe that's not the best word, pushing, but you know what I mean, is self-worth. Increase your self-worth. Yeah, it is. Self-worth is the cornerstone of everything. Not only your life is going to get more pleasant, but also you're going to make your decision from a very different place, a very different energy, a very different mindset. Instead of making your, I can come and talk to you today thinking, oh my God, I hope they're going to like what I'm saying. I'm not sure what I'm saying is good. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. I used to be that way. No, I know that what I have to offer is the best thing since sliced bread. It is. It really is. I know because I've seen it work over and over again on multiple different people. And I coach one-on-one, I coach groups, I do speaking engagements, sell books, sell products, I have online course. I'm a turnkey kind of, and I've seen it work. Of course, you also need to do the work a little bit. So the first one, you take your intention, which can change. And every time you take this one, or both, you connect to your intention, because it also gives your brain a goal, a map. And on top of that, well, the fact that you're constantly connecting to it is also helping you, seeing what works and what is supporting of your intention, which is very important. Again, the book, the course, all that stuff give you way more detail on why and how. So, several tools to break through. Let me have a sip. Yes, tapping, absolutely. tapping is always my tool number one. We're going to have a couple of experience. Briefing as well. So briefing through a situation, and it doesn't have to be right in the situation. If you're in a business meeting, you're not going to start hyperventilating, but making sure that you can slow down your nervous system with a deep breath. Very, very helpful, very helpful. Self-soothing gestures, and I'm going to give you a couple as we do the tapping as well. Journaling, and if you get the book or the online course, or if you work with me, you'll see I give you a lot of journaling prompts, because you need to question your belief. One modality I really love is the work from Byron Katie, sorry. And yes, is it true? Is it really true? Or does it make me feel? To believe it's true? And or do I avoid that situation when I don't have these facts? So journaling really helps you put into context things that you've always believed are true. Taking back my example, my mother picked me up 5 minutes too late. I decide she doesn't love me. Okay, is it true that my mother doesn't love me? Yes, it's true. Is it indeniably true? Is it utterly true? 100%, not 99%. Nothing is 100% true in this world. So, no, I have many examples that show me that actually my mother loves me. Okay. So, how does it make me feel when I think that my mother doesn't love me? Well, I feel sad. I feel worthless. I feel angry. I feel resentful. And you write all of that. And then, how would I react in that situation if I didn't have that thought that my mother doesn't love me? Well, next time she calls, take the phone call. And instead of being defensive, I'll be open. So journaling is a fabulous tool. And again, combined with microdosing, because microdosing really helps you with self-awareness, you're going to open up a lot. But also it helps you rewire. It helps you calm. So you want that. So another exercise I realized, visualization. And we're not very good at visualization necessarily, but yes, it's like, visualization, think about it as imagine. It's just imagine. Visualization might be a word that's scary, and if you think you have difficulty visualizing, which might be again a false belief, just imagine. Play pretend, and maybe that makes it easier. So what I want to do with you today is, and I will share my screen for a second. Okay, so I share screen. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, wait, share, sorry. Share, and I'm going to share that. So you should be able to see my screen there. Okay. So let's have an experience. Let's have a tapping experience. So I want you to think about your intention. And maybe your intention is feeling confident in business meeting. That's something that I know I struggled with a lot when I was an executive. Again, that self-confidence, that feeling comfortable with it. So I want you to connect to that. You can close your eyes and imagine you are maybe you're selling to a client. So you are in a sales meeting. Maybe it's a performance review with your boss. Maybe you're presenting to your board. Think about that and feel the stress that it might generate in your body. Maybe you feel that your throat is tight. maybe your belly, like you feel knots in your body. Maybe it's in your head and you feel pressure in your head. So I want you to connect, not just to the concept of this business meeting. I want you to connect to the sensation in your body, the feeling you have. It's very important. We want to calm your nervous system, not just work on your mind, but also work on your body, because I'm sure you know about the mind-body connection. Okay, so connect to that. And then I'll explain you a bit more about tapping, but right now I want us to do an experience. So you take your fingertips, just like a couple of fingers on each end, and you can follow the script. That means you're going to have to open your eyes, or you can just follow along as I say. So tap on your eyebrow, releasing and letting go of all the stress, the anxiety, the resentment, the anger, and the fear. Side of eye, releasing and letting go of all the sadness, the worries, the hurt, and the confusion. Under eye, releasing and letting go of all the tension in my body, the pressure in my head, heart, and belly. Collarbone, releasing and letting go of all the self-defeating words, the self-loathing, and the self-hatred. Releasing and letting go. Grab your wrist, breathe, and say peace. Peace. Put your hands on your heart, take a breath. Then you take your hands and you evening or pet your face very softly, lovingly like that. And say peace. Second time, safe. Third time, calm. And then we're going to do something else. Eyes up, eyes left, eyes right, eyes bottom. So that if you never tapped before, that is a tapping session. So I love tapping for a couple of reasons. The first reason is it has been proven to reduce cortisol levels, so the stress hormone, by 43%. So again, this product, this microdosing, is already helping you actually decrease your cortisol level, decrease your stress level. So when you're tapping, you're doubling down. But also you're tapping with a specific situation in mind and specific feeling in your body. And what it does is that the tapping interrupts the message coming from your amygdala to your body that says, I'm stressed, I'm anxious. In that situation, the situation you were envisioning. So what we're doing is that we're neutralizing. We're neutralizing the fear, the anxiety, the stress, these feelings, stress, anxiety, sensation, red, out of breath, stomach that is in knot. And that is the beauty of tapping. So that is what you are doing on your face. What we've done, the self-soothing, so the hands on your face, it is, I would say, a very similar mechanism. It's also a mind-body mechanism that aims at interacting the pattern. So all this gesture of tapping and self-soothing are extremely, extremely helpful, and you don't necessarily have to use them exactly like that. Yes, because in a business meeting, obviously, you're not going to start tapping on your face, So you can do the tapping before to calm down, the self-soothing before to calm down, but I also have a secret weapon. So if you're in a meeting and you're starting to get stressed, you can tap and you can look here with your fingertips. So your thumb on the side of your index finger, That is very, because if you're familiar with the meridians and acupuncture and Chinese medicine, we have a map, obviously, of, but not obviously, but we have a map of our organs on and our nerves on our body. So if you tap like that, that's going to calm you down. So you might, I know when I tap, I have a tendency, because the energy is moving, which is the goal. You want to disconnect everything that has been wrongly connected, meaning stress in business meetings, which you don't want. You want to go in business meeting feeling cool, calm, relaxed, not stress. Otherwise, as you can imagine, not great outcomes, or at least not best outcomes. So if I have, before the meeting, calmed down, started to interpret the patterns, I already go in a position that is way more neutral than going like this, where I have all these images that are working in my subconscious, if not in my conscious. If you're in the meeting and you feel like, okay, I need a bit of a pick-me-up, tap on your finger under the desk. No one sees it. No one's the wise. So just do that, you're going to feel relaxed. When I tap and the energy moves, I have a tendency to yawn a lot. So just be mindful that maybe you might yawn. Some people burp, not great. That's the energy moving. Amazing when you're in your car or in your living room. Yes, not great in business meetings. You don't necessarily want to burp at the face of your clients. You might be more relaxed, but it might not be amazing. So just make sure, obviously, do it before a few times so you know what's your reaction. And that's going to be helpful. Self-soothing, extremely helpful as well. Same, you're in a meeting, can just under the desk, very lightly caress your arm or caress your hand or touch your hand if you don't like the word caress. And that will calm you down a lot. And these are tools if you have children, and if you don't, you can still spread the good words to your friends and family member. That is fabulous for children. Like just the self-soothing. And actually, you see, I don't work with clients to help them stop smoking, but what happens with a lot of hypnotherapists is that they replace the gist of smoking by a caress on the arm, for example. So that is very helpful. So all of that, keep in mind that, let's say you are feeling very anxious, self-soothing, with your hands on your face or your hands on your arm, tapping like what we just did. And if you don't want to do a full script, just tap on your collarbone. Actually, we're going to do something. I love tapping on my collarbone. So when I follow webinars or when I follow coaching calls or things like that, I tap on my collarbone. Because a lot of things that are said can be triggering me without me recognizing it. Like it works in my background. If I'm constantly tapping on my collarbone, that means I'm able to constantly calm down regardless of the situation around me. So you can, feel free to tap down as we're talking on your fingers, your collarbone, self-soothe. You will already feel so much quieter. And that's what I'm referring to with finding more balance, finding more performance. Once you have calmed your nervous system, you're going to be able to be way more performant, way more balanced, simply by the definition that less stress, less anxiety. Even if you are not microdosing, just with the tapping and the self-soothing. Microdosing is going to amplify that tenfold and going to add the memory boost, the focus, the attention, the flow, all that great stuff. So I hope you really understand that it's 1 + 1 = 3 here. So I want to stop a second just to see what's happening here. Does it make sense? And do you understand the value of... Yes, you can use it for for weight loss, absolutely. What can be your intention to lose weight, removing all this negative conditioning, this negative thought about yourself, when you eat something you're not supposed to do, to help you with seeing yourself in a more positive light as well. Very often people struggle to lose weight because they are very negative about themselves. One of the big challenge I see as well with people who have difficulty losing weight is that subconsciously weight is a protection. So when people are in a place of unsafety, uncertainty, they tend to put on more weight because it's like this protective blanket. I also seen, unfortunately, people who have, which is not always the case, but I've seen people with experience of sexual abuse who gonna have struggle with weight. They're gonna gain weight, and it's also this idea that they're not gonna attract the gaze, so there are a lot of reasons that might explain why someone might have a problem with weight. It's not just what they're eating, and sometimes what they're eating again is coming from another emotional problem. So there is always more than meet the eye. But I really, really want you to understand one thing is that by calming your nervous system, it's gonna totally change your life. Absolutely. You can tap as well for a positive. Let's do a positive tapping. Share. Well, so. And it's very easy. This one is just positive. I like working more on the negative, but sometimes you want to boost yourself up before something. So I want you to connect to, okay, let's go back to that situation in business meeting. And so you see yourself, you close the sale, your performance review went super well. The conversation, or maybe the conversation was a conversation with your spouse, went super well. So visualize, imagine, think you did it. The sales, you closed the sales. You got the raise. You got the job. Maybe it was a job interview. How do you feel in your body? What are the sensations? Is it a heart expansion? Is it feeling light? Is your belly doing a little dance? I want you to connect to this expansive feeling, this feeling of feeling great, this physical sensation. Eyebrow, I did it. Side of the eye, I am so happy. Under eye, this is amazing. I am amazing. Collarbone, this success is mine and I love it. Rub your wrist, breathe, and say success. Put your hands on your heart, take a breath. Use your hands on your face 3 times. Successful, happy, worthy. So when it comes to tapping, again, for the sake of time, I just did it once for each script, but usually I do it 3 times for each specific situation, intention. You can actually find some tapping on my website and on my YouTube channel if you want to do more of that. So again, okay, so yes, questions on microdosing. Yes, you can go on my website and there's a tab microdosing products, and you can buy 1 bottle or 3 bottles. 3 bottles shipping is free. Same for this one. If you're buying both products at the same time, I'm gonna reimburse you the part of the shipping, because we're gonna combine both products at the same time. And both in Canada and the US. if you're in Europe, as I said, send me a note and we'll see. Europe is more difficult simply because the shipping costs are higher. So I need to make sure you're comfortable with the shipping cost vis-a-vis that. So that's that. No, like microdosing. So microdosing, there's nothing dangerous in microdosing. Like what you're microdosing, psychedelics or non-psychedelics. It's again, it's like everything. You follow the protocol, quality products, right quantity, right frequency, and you know you're 99% there. It's not like any other things you're doing. You want to manage that. Microdosing is absolutely not, I would say, microdosing psychedelic or mimicking psychedelic. There's nothing scary if you're doing it intelligently. Again, right products, right quantity, right schedule. Um, and yes, you can use this protocol for different aspect of your life. Money, stress, obviously, is something you can absolutely use. So I know it was a lot of information. I hope you understand really the connection between this idea that calm, calm you can get with, like calm nervous system, rewiring your brain, thanks to microdosing, thanks to the practice, bringing you more balance, bringing you more performance. That's going to bring you more success. And that's that connection that I think we tend to forget. We tend to jump from one to the other, or we miss a few steps. So again, you can decide to microdose alone. I recommend, some of this practice are extremely fast. You see that extremely fast. And maybe you already have your own practice and you're fitting that inside your own practice. That being the microdosing, you'll see tremendous results. Always recommend people, let's say I have many people who love doing therapy. That's great. I mean, that's to each its own. That will help you definitely go deeper and potentially faster. If you're doing coaching, whatever you're doing, like there's no bad situation. It's just gonna make everything you're doing better and deeper. So, if I want to kind of wrap it up, like if you start this protocol, microdosing, and some of the practice I mentioned, if that's going to really help you to rewire your brain, more calm, more performance, more balance, as I say, calm your nervous system, boost your mental wellness, because you're going to see tremendous boost in your mood. I saw that absolutely. Improving your performance, better focus, better connection to self-awareness is great. And whatever your self-development practices are, you're going to see more success. So as I said, if you want to work with me, it's very easy. It's I would say I have a turnkey. You can do coaching. I have coaching packages, but I also do personalized. So if you want to have something that's really more specific to you, we can do that. So I do coaching. I do speaking engagement. So I can speak at your company, or at your professional association, or at your group, your mastermind, or if you belong to a community. I have an online course which is self-study, so you can do it at your own rhythm. Lots of videos, lot of worksheets. You have access, lifetime access. I have a book, I mentioned it, that is more do it yourself. And I have the product. So again, if you're interested by this work, you can do it with as much hand holding guidance, or as little as you want. So that's very easy. So if you want to connect with me, can go on my website, the Microdose Diet. I have a Substack, Microdose Diet. You can go to my Instagram, which is Peggy VDP. So on LinkedIn, obviously, my book is on sale on Amazon. So you shouldn't have any issue finding me if you want more information. And anyway, if you're watching that webinar, whether right now or a replay, that means you found me somewhere. So we have a few more minutes for questions. I know I answered quite a bit already, and it was a lot of information. Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes, so the legality. So the microdosing with psychedelics is legal in some places. So Colorado, for example, is going to be a different a different legal status than if you're in New York or if you're in Vancouver, for example. So that is something you need to check by yourself. But it's most likely going to be illegal. Let's be totally honest. Yeah. So if you are not comfortable with the idea of microdosing with something that is not legal, which I totally understand, pick this product, which is why I called it very tongue-in-cheek, the legal brain power microdose, because that is legal. So if you're interested in the microdose diet protocol but are afraid of the illegality, you can do that. And yes, we do ship this one. We never had any issue. I mean, we're not. I'm not Pablo Escobar. What I'm doing is for healing, for personal development, for professional development, and the doses are extremely, extremely small. So, like it's, again, we're just ahead of our time in terms of changing regulation. So thank you so much. It's already, 2:30. Thank you so much for your time today. If you have more questions, you can shoot me an email or DM me. And thank you so much for being here again. Thank you. And if you want to coach with me, you can shoot me an email. You can go on my website. Again, just reach out to me, and you can get all the information you want. And I have some free resources on my website as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and thank you so much for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.